Hello everyone, Joshua here, and Battlecats 14.2 has brought some of the most insane additions to the game. From Baja Blast to Absolute Cinema Luga, I plan on discussing it all in this video, so without further ado, let's discuss this wild ride of an update. There are 5 new units in this update, the first being Choco Capsule, a Japanese exclusive that's available for purchase. They're a single target melee rusher standing at 200 range, have 35 speed, and massive damage against traitness, doing 31.6k damage at level 30. While they can be decent supplementary damage against the trait, their range and lack of immunities really hold it back from being great, especially in the current game environment. The evolved form, Choco Serp Cat F, wields the same stats and ability, except trade the trading as target for black. With food treasures, Choco Serp deals 42.2k damage against black enemies. They are unfortunately outclassed by a talented heavy assault CAT, with that unit being far stronger in every stat except for speed and cost. However, this isn't the end for this unit, as they have a single slot combo consisting of only itself called Pop, which is a walnut max up medium combo, boosting the max walnut by 20%. While I do not know how impactful max walnut combos can be, I do believe that this is a very strong combo. If you play the Japanese version and are a collector, I would pick this unit up if you have the cash, otherwise I would skip it. The next new addition is Killer Ghost Cat, a new addition to the Killer family. Like the other units, this is essentially just an expensive copy of the basic variant of it, with this time obviously being gross. Being a ghost variant, it is a mediocre at best ranged attacker, and since it is a killer cat, it costs 7,500 cents, so it is almost entirely a user rank dump. The most unique thing about it is range, being at a staggering 700. But this is nowhere near enough to save this guy from being a complete waste. I initially assumed Killer Ghost can be unlocked through Horde of Cats Gauntlet, but it does not seem like it from the wiki, so who knows. I would suggest trying getting him anyway, cause free user rank, and you know, he could have a true form like Killer Cat God. Okay, so both of these units have been complete ass so far. Can we get something good? Was that a fucking base effect? Okay, let's look at this. This is Mamaluga, the newest Uber for the Nekuluga banner. Like all Lugas, the first form is a useless user rank dump, so we're going to be entirely talking about his evolved form, Mamolan Pasilan. Mamolan is a base defender similar to Mighty Crystal Mu, but even more so dedicated as a base defender due to his speed being a flat 0, which means he cannot move away from his base at all. His range is rather high at 1400, meaning he does cover a large amount of range at any stage he's in. Now, his DPS obviously is going to be low, but 235 is just pathetic, being one of the lowest in the entire game. He is designed to be a supplementary support when enemies get close to the base, with guaranteed 6.67 seconds of weaken against all enemies. He also is immune to warp and knockback, and immune to the boss shockwave, which means you can spawn him whenever, and he will not get pushed back by anything. He does lack immunities to wave, surge, and explosion, so if any enemies with those, or some form of piercing enemies with like LD, touch the base, he will be killed almost immediately, which is hopefully going to change in true form in like 15.3 or some shit like that. One more thing I must mention is his summon. Mamolan's Spirit is very unique compared to the others, as it has 500 more range, being 1300 compared to the usual 800. And he is capable of killing some enemies due to his attack power of 45.9 thousand. And he also has the same ability as Mamolan, guaranteed 6.67 seconds of weaken against all traits, so with the combination of Mamolan's base attack and the properly timed spirit, he has nearly 100% uptime due to his 14-second attack rate. Though this is really risky since only piercing, wave, and surge enemies can kill Mamolan, and this summon can only be used once, so it's more of a last ditch effort. Overall, Mamolan has its place, but it's very niche and I wouldn't recommend rolling for him. The next dupe is the Amazing Catman, a variant of Catman that would be available in the White Day event banner. His range is good as 445, an average cost of 4500, and good HP at 59.5k and 4.6k DPS. He also has wave immunity, which means he can be viable on wave stages, even though it isn't the most valuable, as wave stages are power crept to high hell. He also has the ability Massive Damage, meaning against his target traits he deals 18.4k DPS against them, and since he is a variant of Catman and as such a dark hero, each form has different targets, with the first form targeting red and floating. And due to his range and damage, he is easily able to deal with most red and floating enemies. although I would avoid floating enemies with the wrong trait due to their curse and his lack of curse immunity. His evolved form is Illusionist Catman, which swaps the floating target out for Angel and is pretty good in that field as well, although I would advise using him against units like Doba due to his lack of surge immunity. Overall, he is an excellent unit and I would advise rolling for him. The final new unit is the Uber Konico, who is featured in the Best of the Best banner, and she is the perfect unit if you would like to gamble. First form is similar to Monaco or Nanaco, being a cost of 148, having 250 range and mediocre HP and damage. She also has guaranteed slow against Runic and Traitness for 2 seconds, immunities to Wave and Curse, a 12% chance to crit, and a 22% chance to perform either a level 2 Wave, a Savage Blow, a level 2 Surge, or an Explosion at her standing range. Theoretically, she can do last boss levels of damage, but it is so unbelievably low that I would not recommend trying to get that nuke damage off from her. The Surge itself is also realistically not going to contribute to it, as it stands at ranges 200 hit to 400, which barely eclipses within her 250 range. So mostly be disconnected from her main attack, lowering her peak potential damage output. Her evolved form is Superstorm Konico, which has high stats, 450 range and longer cooldown, and as well as a higher cost. All her abilities stay the same, just her Surge and Explosion spawning 200 range further ahead. There's not much else to really say, as her slow is just not that relevant due to RNG abilities, although it is okay supplementary slow. Her being a gambling nuke is funny, it's just not practical. If you like the gambling and luck based unit that she is, I would roll for her, but other than that, she is not worth rolling. There are 2 new true forms, and both of them are pretty strong, with the first one being Bubble Cat, the true form of Phantom Cat. Phantom Cat, evolved from Miasma Cat, was before a mediocre LD attack with massive damage to angel enemies, with relatively long cooldown, low HP damage, and it was just not worth it. True form fixes all of that, boosting their damage and DPS by over 170%, giving them a total of 9k damage per hit or around 2000 DPS. This means they do 36,000 damage per hit or 8000 DPS against angels, which is much more acceptable and rivals even units like Mushroom for being a spamable anti-angel attacker. They also gave Bubble more backswings, so they wouldn't clip into enemies that easily, and to their low cooldown of 14 seconds to 11 seconds, they will be able to be stacked much easier. They also gain Curse Immunity, which is useful against Runic and Angel or enemies or Curse-based agents, which are surprisingly common. Lastly, they also get Floating Target, which is a field they perform very well in, as it's one that doesn't have many LD attackers as far as I'm aware. You unlock this true form by beating the Zono or Ziono, I don't know how to pronounce this name. You beat it by beating their Revenge stage, which I'll get to later on. Overall, this unit is pretty good now, and I would unlock it eventually. I don't know when I'll do it, but I'll do it. The second true form is Oni Battle Pod Hozichumaru, the true form of Isun Boshi. Isun is a Russian nuker against Traitness and Angels, doing massive damage against them. With their Omni of negative 100 to 300, this gives them a bit of piercing consistency, and they also have Surge Immunity for units like Cappy and Saint Dober. Their true form gives them a 50% boost in attack, 10 more speed, and freeze immunity, as he now deals 112,000 damage per hit or 27.6k DPS against Angels, and 84,000 damage or 19.2,000 DPS against Traitless. This makes them much stronger against their targets, and them nuke much easier. Freeze immune makes them more viable against enemies like Henry, and higher speed means they'll go to the front line quicker and cause them to get hit by enemies to get knocked back and rebound, dealing even more damage. The requirements for this true form are 3 Yellow Cat Food and 6 Epic Cat Food, and for a unit this strong, I feel like is a worthwhile investment. Now I have the Ultra form for Ultima Galaxy Cosmo, which is Supernova Cosmo. Ultima Galaxy Cosmo was a super backliner with 850 range, a very long force swing, so has guaranteed knockback and 5 seconds of freeze against Floating and Angel. He dealt 56,000 damage per hit at level 30, and with talents gains 10 seconds of Curse and Colossus Slayer. Ultra form boosts his HP, lowers his cost from 5850 to 4500, gives him a guaranteed level 10 wave, an Omni that goes up to 1050 range, and Sage Slayer. When I first looked at this, I did not believe it was busted at first, but after looking over again and seeing other people online look into him, I realized I am a moron and this unit is absolutely busted. At level 60, he deals 128,000 damage per hit with attack talents, and with the wave that doubles it to 256,000. And due to his long attack range and wave, he is guaranteed to do double knockback against any floating and angel enemies. And with his Omni attack, this gives him so much more reliability for attacking and landing said attack. The requirements for the auto form are 10 Younger Stones and 10 Younger Food, and if that is not worth every bit of XP and food thrown at him, I have no fucking clue what is. If you are a Cosmo user like I am, invest as soon as possible, you will not regret it. That auto form is actually insane. Hopefully the talents can calm down. Are you kidding me? Okay, Holy Valkyrie and Awakened Bahamut got talents, which are unlocked by beating the talent stages which appear after clean Cats of the Cosmos Chapter 1 for Valkyrie and Cats of the Cosmos Chapter 2 for Bahamut. I'll discuss the stages later, so let's talk about the talents themselves for now. Starting with the bigger of the two, Bahamut does not gain HP or attack talents, and honestly, with everything else he got with these, that is justified. He gains a guaranteed explosion at 200 range, slow immunity, and 10 extra speed. I already have a 15-minute video talking about these specific talents in more depth, so if you want to hear me talk about them in detail, go watch that. But to summarize, these are absolutely insane and worth it. Explosion doubles his damage to around 220,000 damage per hit at level 50, and it gives him piercing attacks. A rusher with piercing attacks. A rush unit with piercing attacks! With 220,000 damage per hit! Do you not understand how crazy that is? He also gains slow immunity to kill enemies like Croclay and Master A much more easily, and his high speed makes it much easier to time him and obliterate everything. Bahamut is genuinely cracked, and the 510 NP it takes to upgrade all of his talents at max is absolutely worth it. Thankfully, Valkyrie's talents are not as absolutely cracked, but they are still very good and worth it. She gains 100% strength at 50% health, 1 second long freeze, 750 cost reduction, and 80% attack and health boost. At level 50, Valk goes from 37.8 thousand HP to 68,000 and 4.5 thousand DPS to 8.1 thousand. These are solid boosts, but nothing that helpful until we take Strengthen into account. Her Strengthen ability doubles her attack to 16.2 thousand DPS. While this DPS is strong, Valk does need to be half dead in order to activate it, as well as you needing a bunch of NP to get to this power. The cost down helps her stats become more justifiable, especially with all the other talents invested into. While the extra second freeze is nice, it is completely unnecessary for her kit and is still just a bonus on top of everything else. Overall, these talents are pretty satisfactory, and while she will still fall off around mid to late game, Valkyrie is now worth considering investing into. The last set of talents is for God Emperor Heavy Jack. Heavy Jack is a backline Uber with guaranteed knockback and resist against Red and Aku, as well as having a 50% chance to pierce shields. Talents give him a 50% strengthen at his last knockback, wave and knockback communities, as well as the standard HP and attack boost. With the attack talent and strengthen, Heavy Jack at level 50 will have the max offense of 140,000 damage per hit or 16.9 thousand DPS. This is solid offense, but it requires him to be very low on health, which while easy to do against his targeted traits, is much harder on stages with other traits. Without strengthening, he has 11,000 DPS, which is about as good as Ululun, but nothing more. Knockback community helps him a little with his somewhat longer force swing of 3 seconds, but overall is not very needed. Wave immunity helps with Berserker and lets him be a decent anti-wave attacker. Overall, these talents are not bad, but also not really anything to invest into immediately. Divine Kai got Ultra talents this update. Kai is a tanker with resist to floating, knockback community, guaranteed survive, and guaranteed shield pierce with talents. Ultra talents give her Aku target, curse immunity, and a 20% HP buff. Starting with her HP buff, at level 60 she goes from 364.8 thousand HP to 437.7 thousand HP, with it being nearly 2.2 million against floating. Her tankiness was already very great, but now it is just absolutely absurd with how much HP she has against floating enemies. Curse immunity helps with several stages that include floating with relics or curse-based stages. The biggest upgrade for her though is her Aku targeting, giving her an effect of 1.7 million HP against them, making her the ultimate Aku tank and possibly one of the best anti-Aku Ubers. These are very good Ultra talents overall, and I would recommend investing if Aku enemies are a trait that you are struggling with currently. Now that we're done with cat units, let's take a look at the new enemies introduced. There are 5 that came in this update in total, with 4 of them being enemy variants of cats. The first new enemy is Shachiko, a Relic Sage variant of Dolphina with an LD of 250 to 550 as well as guaranteed curse for 6 seconds, which is well over 100% uptime due to their quick attack rate. They also have stronger damage, so it's recommended to use units like ED Tanuku before they become a massive problem. The next enemy is Holy Valkyrie Cat, a boss enemy version of the unit with the same name. She is a fairly strong enemy with 75% chance to freeze units for 3 seconds and doubles her attack power at half health, boosting her DPS to 16.2 thousand, which is strong enough to clear out many defensive options that aren't dedicated tanks. As she is a floating enemy, I would recommend using units like Octo Fishman to help take her out. The second boss is Awakened Bahamut Cat, another boss enemy version of the unit with the same name. He has a 3-part multi-hit with the majority of his damage coming from the first hit being 66,000. The first hit also has a guaranteed explosion, effectively doubling the damage to 132,000 per hit, making even a manic race to needing decently high levels to even tank the farthest point of the explosion. He isn't too tanky having 2 million HP, but his 12 knockback means he will rebound frequently and deal devastating damage. The next enemy variant is of Choco Capsule, who this enemy has basically no stats and can be dealt with low issue. The final enemy is the enemy variant of Colonel Ghost Cat, who has mediocre stats that get hellishly boosted in the Hordes of Cats event stages. He is a black enemy with guaranteed knockback and with his high range of 700 can be a proper threat in those final stages. The new Zeo subchapter is Forest Playground, and all of the stages can drop any Z material except Ammonite Z. The first stage is Bamboo Copter Launch and has the enemies Dojinstein, Gabriel, Indiana Gory, Johnny Ian, Director Kurosawa, and Shachiko. After that is Broadleaf Yo-Yo, which has the enemies Zinesh, Rungak Doge, Dagshun, Professor Abrongis, Zyklone, and Shachiko. The next stage is Marble Swamp, which has Trolley Blogger, Shibanga Elite, Raging Gory, Technord Hyena, Haki, and Professor Abrongi. Then we have Waterweed Trumpet, which has Dojinstein, Mega Baba, Dark Doba, Shachiko, and Lutrine Gokurako. After that is Trompo Foothills, which consists of 6 Axolotls and 5 Assassin Bears. This stage is just a Royal Guard check and is just so stupid. Finally, for this subchapter is Beloved Waterfall, which has Coffin Zolges, Thrillers, Muth, Dojinstein, Rain D, Henry, and Oldstretch. There are a bunch of event stages, with the first one being the event stages for Ziono. The first level is the same as the original, having the enemies Death Angel Ziono, Zoj, Zoosh, Star Pang, Shibang Elite, and General Gregory, with a restriction of 1500 cents or less, a true tragedy for Bloody Jack users. The second stage is with Symphony, having Ziono supported by Gabriel, Dark Doge, Angelic Gory, Shellboxer K, Saint Dober, and Great Angel Chibilao. There are 2 stages named Journey to Talent, and both of them are for unlocking the talents for Valkyrie and Bahamut. Valk's stage consists of Mr. Sungaboodle, Ultra Baba, Sunfish Jones, Holy Valkyrie Cat, and General Gregory. Bahamut Cat's trial stage has 3 moves at the start, then infinite Shibarians and 1 awakened Bahamut himself. The next event stage is Boring If It's Only Tasty, a JP exclusive stage, and it only consists of a handful of chocolate capsules and nothing else. In celebration of the game hitting 100 million downloads, there's an event stage named Grats, 100 million DLs. The enemies consist of Firework Guy's High Yield, Fireworks Guy's Low Yield, the Young Anniversary Birthday Cake, and Doge. The other celebration stage is the Golden Tower, which is the same as the Heavenly Tower, except that the rewards are doubled and stage 50 has different enemies. Floor 50 of Golden Tower still has Master Euro, but he is supported by Golden Doge, Gold Hippo, Pure Gold Rost, and Metal Snake. There's now a new otherworld Colosseum rule, plus 1 Uber. This spawns a second Uber about a second after you spawn your first one. Round 1 has Squirrel, Doge Dark, Shadowboxer K, Brawlo, Teacher Bun Bun, Tacky, Professor A, and Cappy. Round 2 has Doge, Croxo, Star Pang, JJ Jackrabbit, General Gregory, Lemur, Rost, and Cly 1. Round 3 has Ms. Devil, Wild Doge, Mr. Sungbudu, Akugori, Wicked Face, Meduson, Crustaceous Sizzrex, and Vermilingua Ringmaster. Round 4 has those guys, Zombo, Cecile, Zongo, Formicity and Ariant, Lower Formis Gingaburu, Infernal Pegasus Daniel, and Dreadboar. Finally, round 5 has Snake, Gabriel, and Jungagori, Kagamaria, Lieutenant Gokurako, Teo Hazuku, and Winged Piggy. Horde of Cats had its stages changed, with stages 16 to 15 having Killer Ghosts included in the lineup, ending with Killer Axe Cat Base, Killer Cat, Killer Tank Cat, and Killer Ghost Cat. There are 2 new cat combos added this update. However, we already talked about Pop when discussing Choco Capsule, so we'll only discuss the other one right here. The combo itself is Sigh of Relief, a research power-up medium combo with Cowluga Passlane and Crazed Lizard Cat. This is exactly the same as Cheating Heart, a combo well known as one of the best researched combos in the game, so people who have Cowluga can utilize this busted combo now. The White Day banner has had several units swapped out this update. using Date Masamune, Urashima Taro, Lucifer the Fallen, and Thunderjack. In return, the banner gains the Amazing Catman, Wrathful Poseidon, Hattori Hanzo, and Izun Boshi. 3 new user rank rewards were added. User rank 24.3k gives 3 Gold Z, 24.4k gives 3 Meteorite Z, and 24.5k gives 3 Beast Bones Z. Tangadome Storage has gained a filter, being able to find a specific rank, target, or effect. The Gacha Heartbeat Academy cats all gain a +5 increase to the max plus levels, so Secret Crush Cat, Tomboy Lion Cat, and Chalkboard Racer Cat goes to +50, and Class Rep Cat goes to +40. Aki has had his multi-hit changed to align with his animation accurately, now hitting at frames 32, 52, and 72. Kana's cat base also got changed, lowering their attack rate and changing their Omni to hit ranges 0 to 500 on the first hit, 750 to 1250 on the second, and 1500 to 2000 on the third. And with that, that was the entirety of version 14.2. Besides Baja Blast, what part of this update are you most excited for? For me, it has to be Cosmo's Auto Form. That thing is just genuinely insane to me, and I can't wait to use him against Soroctes. If you enjoyed this video or got something new out of it, leave a like and comment down below what you'd like me to do next. If you want to see more of my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. With that, I will see you all next time. See ya!